So I have with me here Mr. Isaac Nketia Sarpong, and he happens to be the national president of Old Vandals Association. Mr. Sarpong, or Mr. President, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you too.
Great. The Old Vandal Association is celebrating its 60th anniversary. Can you quickly run us through what vandalism is, how it all started to begin with?
Thank you. Vandalism started without a true meaning as to what it's all about. In fact, history has it that a group of students from the Commonwealth Hall, originally known as the third hall of the university, decided to embark upon a procession. And whilst they were moving on, somebody standing by the roadside hooted at them and said, "Go away, you vandals," quote and unquote. And so they took it with a pinch of salt from the onset, and people started referring to them as vandals. So it was sort of something that we actually detested from the very beginning, to be referred to as vandals. But it gained notoriety within the university campus that these guys are vandals. So gentlemen at the time decided to take the positives out of the lot and relegate the negatives to the background. So gentlemen started somewhere along the line living by that word, vandal, so that anybody who entered through the gates of this hall was known and called a vandal. But with time, there came along a young chap who decided to research into vandalism, and he, following the research that he conducted, eventually defined a vandal as a vivacious, affable, neighborly, dynamic, and altruistic lad. So if you possess these attributes, then you qualify to be called a vandal. But with time, there has been a slight change in what actually constitutes a vandal. Now we say to be a vandal, you have to possess those 6 attributes. 1, you have to be vivacious. 2, you have to be affable. You have to be neighborly. You have to be dedicated instead of the original dynamic. Then you have to be altruistic, and then you have to be loyal. So you see, with time, vandalism has grown, to come up with these attributes, and anybody who has these attributes is known and called a vandal. But we also have the law, of course, to go along with. And so legally, you need to have been a member of this hall for at least, those days it used to be 1 term, now it's 1 semester. So once you've been in the hall presently for 1 semester, then you can also refer to yourself as a vandal. But a true vandal is somebody who actually is vivacious, affable, neighborly, dedicated, altruistic, and loyal to the cause of vandalism.
Great, thank you so much, Mr. President. But having said that, 60 years in the life of an institution is really a great one, a positive one for that matter, and it's worth celebrating. Can you quickly run me through what necessitated the celebration of this 60th anniversary of the Commonwealth Hall?
Well, as human beings, from day one, we celebrate our birthdays. And so the hall, being an entity in itself, must also celebrate its birthday. The hall was originally opened in 1956. As I said, it was known as the third hall of the university after Legon Hall and the Kwafo Hall. But in 1957, the Queen of the English, that's Queen Elizabeth II, visited Ghana following the Declaration of Independence. And so, to actually commemorate the visit of the Queen to this country, this hall was renamed after the Commonwealth to actually baptize Ghana into the Commonwealth of Nations, which is headed by the Queen, Her Majesty. And so Commonwealth Hall became known as Commonwealth Hall just because of the arrival of the Queen on the shores of Ghana for the very first time. And to remember that occasion, this hall was renamed after the Commonwealth Hall, because after independence we also became a member of the Commonwealth of Nations.
Great, thank you so much. Very quickly, what would you say a Vandal yourself, for that matter, the national president of OVA, what are your achievements so far, and also what would you say the hall as an entity contributed to nation building?
I'll start with the hall. If you look at what the hall has done in the 60 years of existence, then it may take us more than a day to actually, put all these things across. But to put it simply, the hall has produced a lot of men and women, because there was a time that we had women in this hall, and some had actually paid their dues, others are still in office, contributing towards the governance and the development of this nation. We have held virtually every office in this country. We have held the presidency. We have held the speaker's role in parliament, and we have also had Vandals being chief justices in the past. So there's not a single position within the three arms of government that we have not held. In addition, if you move to industry, we have so many Vandals who are playing several roles, key roles in various offices, and all these are contributing towards nation building. So the hall has actually produced a lot of men and women who are doing their best to lift the image of this country and to hold the flag of Ghana aloft. Talking about the old Vandals, in Vandalism we say we love our neighbors more than we do love ourselves. Much as we do exist for our own members, I think one cardinal principle that stands out is the feeling that we have for our fellow human beings, especially those who need our help and support. And so day in, day out, we make sure that we put smiles on the faces of people who don't have anything to hang on. We have provided health care to so many. We continue to provide potable water to a lot of people. We continue to sponsor people in pursuit of education. We continue to give money for people's daily bread every now and then. We continue to clothe people. We continue to provide educational materials to needy institutions. There are so many others that we can talk about, but as I said, it may take us a whole day plus to actually go through all these things. But we have been doing a lot for our fellow human beings, and we will always make sure that we put smiles on the faces of our fellow human beings.
Great. So in a nutshell, one can say that Commonwealth Hall and OVA are in a comfortable lead.
Of course, that will not be far from the truth.
Great.
In fact, look at the university community who comes closer to us. Talk about Sabah Hall, who for some time in the early 2000s tried to do as Vandals do. Unfortunately, not too long thereafter, they fell by the roadside, and now It's all about vandalism and about vandals. Because even if we were to call the roll of the University of Ghana alumni, you will see that vandals will be about 90-95% of the people who will turn up. So we don't have any challenger. So to say we are in a comfortable lead is even to say the least, because I would say we are there and there and there. We don't see anybody behind us.
Okay, great. So 60 years gone by, what would you say you hope the future, how is the future going to be like? Maybe the next 30, 40, 50, 60 years?
It can only be better, because we are not relenting, we are not resting on our oars, we are pushing harder than before, and at all times what we strive to achieve is to make sure that every nook and cranny of this country is reached. Wherever people are looking for support, wherever people are looking for our assistance, we'll do our best to get there, and we will continue to do that until heavens call us.
Great. Thank you so far. I want to take few words from you in relation to your advice for up and coming old vandals and the general public.
It's very simple. You see, the world has become a global village now. Nobody can hide any longer. So you may think you muddying the waters here and that you can go elsewhere to benefit. No, it doesn't work that way these days. So every one of us must play within the rules. There are rules governing students on this campus. And of course, everybody who works here, there are rules governing whatever we do here. So long as we remain part of this institution, we should recognize that and make sure that we don't put a foot beyond the boundaries. Because if we do, we're always going to get ourselves into trouble. So I'll ask every student on this campus to study the university's statutes. They should have them at their fingertips and make sure that at all times they make reference to those statutes so that they will not go beyond the boundaries of those statutes. If we're able to live within the law, we'll be as safe as anybody else, and nobody will take anything away from us. I must also say that there are some few instances where the university authority is also played it very, very hard. I mentioned this afternoon that in some instances they've also been high-handed against students of this hall. We want everybody to do it the way the law requires us to. Rule of law guarantees everybody's peace and everybody's freedom. And if both the guys in authority and the students play by the rules, I think the university will be a better place for everybody. So I want everybody to just recognize that we don't have the freedom forever. There are limits to whatever freedoms that we have, and beyond what we have, there are some dangerous grounds, and so we should be very mindful of whatever we're doing, making sure that we don't overstep the boundaries.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I must say I'm very grateful for your time, and God bless you. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
And thank you. Thank you.
Well, viewers, you heard my comfortable interaction with the president of Old Vandals Association, OVA for short. If I happens to be the national president. Reporting for GHcampus.com, my name Francis Tete, coming from the Commonwealth Hall, University of Ghana, the only hall they say, the Vandal City. Thank you so much. They say truth stands. So Commonwealth Hall, University of Ghana, truth stands. Thank you so much.